581 megabytes. That's what my machine paid to render one word, hello, in an empty Electron window. No file open, no extensions, no editor even. Just the frame VS Code is built on, drawing a single heading. 6 processes, over half a gigabyte of resident memory. Today I'm itemizing the full invoice behind the most popular editor on Earth, the shell, the extensions, and the brains. And the last line item is the one nobody audits, because you keep paying it even if you uninstall VS Code tonight. Quick note on method, because numbers like these usually come from angry Reddit threads. These didn't. I spun up a clean Linux machine and measured every process myself, both raw resident memory and proportional set size, which is the honest metric, because it doesn't double count what processes share. Full methodology and timestamps are in the pinned comment. Let's open the invoice. First, scale. Stack Overflow's latest developer survey puts VS Code at 75.9% usage. 3 out of 4 developers on the planet write code inside it. So this is not a niche complaint. It's arguably the largest silent resource allocation in software development. And to be clear, this is not a hit piece. VS Code might genuinely be worth the price. But worth it implies you know what the price is, and almost nobody has actually read the bill. There are 3 line items. Before I show you the measurements, make a prediction. Which one is biggest? The Electron shell everyone loves to blame, the extensions, or something else? Lock it in. We'll settle it at the end. Line item 1, the shell. Electron is 2 engines bolted together. Chromium for drawing pixels, Node for touching the operating system, which means your text editor is, architecturally, a web browser that lost its URL bar. And Chromium made a decision 20 years ago that defines everything. One process is never enough. There's a browser process coordinating everything, a GPU process compositing the pixels, utility processes for networking, and a renderer process per window, sandboxed, running its own JavaScript heap. That's a great design for a browser. Crash one tab, the rest survive. But you inherit all of it just to blink a cursor. My hello world measurement, 6 processes before a single file is open, about 580 megabytes resident, 255 megabytes by the honest shared memory-aware count. And underneath, there's a number I want you to remember, because it reprices everything that follows, 42 megabytes. That's an empty node process on my machine, V8 spun up, executing literally nothing. 42 megabytes is the cover charge. Every JavaScript process in this story pays it before doing any work. Now here's what the LOL Electron crowd gets wrong. This part of the tax is fixed. It's the same whether your project has 10 files or 10,000. If the shell were the whole story, VS Code would idle at 600 megabytes, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. The part of the invoice that grows, that's where it gets interesting. Line item 2, the extensions. Every extension you install is JavaScript running in one shared node process called the extension host, that 42 megabyte cover charge, plus whatever each extension allocates on a common heap. This is the line item with the variance. It's why your VS Code and your coworker's VS Code on identical laptops can differ by gigabytes. Typical sessions show the extension host in the 400 to 500 megabyte range. The pathological cases are documented right in Microsoft's own issue tracker. Sessions climbing past 7 gigabytes across processes, the Copilot chat extension leaking memory until VS Code's only remedy is to kill the extension host and restart it while you're typing. There's something almost elegant about it. The feature that made VS Code unbeatable, an ecosystem of tens of thousands of extensions, is the same mechanism nobody can put a ceiling on. And if you're keeping score, thinking, shell plus extensions, fine. That's the famous 2 gigabytes, mystery solved. No. The single biggest line item on this invoice is still coming. It's not the shell, and it's not the extensions, and it's the one you cannot cancel. That's in about 2 minutes. If this kind of itemized teardown is what you want more of, subscribing is the lowest latency way to get it. But first, why should you even care? The standard defense is, RAM exists to be used. You have 32 gigs. Unused memory is wasted memory. 3 reasons that defense fails. 1. Latency. Every keystroke in VS Code travels through Chromium's compositor pipeline before becoming a pixel. Measured keystroke-to-screen latency sits around 15 to 25 milliseconds, against under 10 for GPU-native editors like Zed. Pavel Fotin's research on typing latency showed humans perceive these differences well before they can name them. It registers as a feeling that the editor is somehow mushy. You adapt. Your hands don't. 2. Power. Pushing text through a browser compositor costs watts. Side-by-side measurements of VS Code against native editors show meaningfully higher draw for identical work, which on a laptop is just battery life you donated to an architecture decision. 3. Pressure. That 2 gigabytes doesn't sit politely in a corner. It competes with the compilers, containers, and test suites you're also running. Memory pressure becomes swapping, becomes garbage collection pauses, becomes that 200 millisecond hiccup when you hit save on a large file. And the comparison that matters isn't some 1995 nostalgia trip, it's editors shipping today. A widely circulated public benchmark, not mine, so take it as directional, catches VS Code at 23 processes and 3.5 gigabytes with a real project open, and measures Z doing the same job in 5 processes and 222 megabytes. Sublime text idles in the double digits. Native editors are the control group in this experiment, and they prove the overhead is a choice, not physics. Which brings us to line item 3, 268 megabytes. That's the number that broke my framing of this video. It's not Electron. It's not an extension, really. It's tsserver, the TypeScript language server, the brain behind your autocomplete. Measured on a toy project I generated specifically to be trivial, 50 files, each about 10 lines, 268 megabytes. By itself, more than my entire Electron Hello World shell. For a project 1,000 times smaller than anything you'd touch at work. And it's worse than that, in a fascinating way. VS Code doesn't run one tsserver, it runs 2. A small syntax server so basic editing stays responsive, and a full semantic server that loads your entire project graph into V8 objects. Python? Pyrate's language server costs 69 megabytes on my machine before reading a single file. Scale this to a real monorepo, and you find the issue threads. Server hitting heap limits and crashing mid-session. VS Code even ships a setting called max tsserver memory. And honestly, the existence of that setting is the confession. You don't ship a memory ceiling for a component you expect to behave. This is the line item nobody audits, because it doesn't look like bloat. It looks like intelligence. We decided autocomplete should understand the entire code base, every type, every reference, updated on every keystroke. That understanding has to live somewhere. It lives in RAM, which sets up the thing I promised at the start, the line item that follows you out the door. Quit VS Code tonight. Install Z, the fast one, the Rust one. Open a TypeScript project and watch your process list, because there it is. Tsserver again, just wrapped in a thin layer. Z speaks the language server protocol, the standard Microsoft built for VS Code, ironically, and LSP means every editor outsources its brain to the same servers. The invoice splits cleanly in 2. The Electron Premium, Shell, Compositor, Extension Host is real and cancelable. Switch editors and reclaim a gigabyte or more. The intelligence tax is not. You can manage it, cap it, restart it. You can't cancel it without giving up the autocomplete you stopped noticing the way you stopped noticing oxygen. Full disclosure, I measured all of this on a clean machine while the editor on my other monitor, VS Code, held just under 2 gigabytes. I know the price now. Line by line, I'm still paying it. That's what makes it a tax and not a scam. You can read the entire bill and still sign. And if your prediction at the start was something else, you read this invoice better than most senior engineers I know. Because here's the uncomfortable zoom out. VS Code isn't the lone culprit. It's a symptom of a much bigger trend, the one quietly making our most powerful computers feel slow. I traced who actually profits from us accepting heavier and heavier software with receipts in this video. It's on your screen now. Go read the rest of the bill.